You're listening to the Fierce Fatty Podcast, episode 136. Hypnotic, gastric band, and herbs up your vag to lose weight. What? Let's do it.
Perfect.
Hello and welcome to the episode. Just got a text through from Summer Innanen, friend of the show, that she says that she sharts herself all day long. That's probably not true. She's probably joking. Who knows? So today we're talking about the wild shit I have seen advertised lately in regards to weight loss. One of my friends who lives in Australia has sends me things that she sees that she thinks that I would like or you would like, and she's right, because some of the stuff she sends me is it's primo ridiculous content. So because I'm going to be talking about diets, if you are thinking it could be triggering in regards to hearing what's inside the diet, I'm not going to talk about any numbers or weights or anything like that, but I'm going to be talking about the products. They're all bullshit. I mean, every diet is bullshit anyway, but I'm not advertising them. I'm just talking about how ding-dong-alicious they are, as in the people who are selling them are ding-dongs. That it's not ding-dong as in good, ding-dong as in bad. Yeah, so I'm going to be talking about that. Before I do, I've had something on my mind, and I just wanted to talk about it. And the reason why I wanted to do kind of a more light-hearted episode is that I have not been feeling light-hearted in the last week. I'm going to be talking about transphobia for the next, 5-10 minutes. So if you don't want to hear about transphobia, suicidal thoughts, a very brief mention of that, then yes, skip ahead like 5-10 minutes. So so I'm trans non-binary, as you know, or maybe you don't know, maybe you're new to the show. I'm non-binary, and transgender means someone who does not align with the gender that they were assigned at birth. I was assigned female at birth. I am not a female. I am non-binary, and so I am trans non-binary. Many people have different labels and different ways that they identify, and that's just how I identify. And this is something that I have been working through for the last couple of years now, and unlearning fat phobia and weight bias and all the bullshit around femininity and fatness has really helped me understand who I am in my gender. And the response from the Fierce Fatty community, it has been beautiful and affirming and wonderful and so respectful. And you might not realize when I see you talking about me, typing about me, not talking, it's not like I'm hanging around, I'm following around the streets being like, are you talking, what are you saying about me? But say if the page Fierce Fatty gets tagged somewhere, or someone recommends me and someone correctly genders me, that always happens when people are tagging me. It just feels so nice. I just want you to know that I might not always respond, because you might just be telling your friend, oh hey, go check out Fierce Fatty podcast or whatever, and then you say they are great, and I'm just like, oh, thank you so much. Just to be correctly gendered is beautiful. And so that, obviously not all of the response has been positive, but from the Fierce Fatty community, there was a couple of people who were like, I'm going to unfollow you now, but that, they're very in the minority. And so I've been very lucky that I've been shielded from a lot of shit, and also because of the gobs of privilege that I have in regards to appearing cis, and so cisgender. So when I walk through the streets, people don't think, oh, that's a trans person, and then I don't experience marginalization due to people's perceptions of me. That's a whole different story in regards to how I want them to perceive me. I don't want them to perceive me as a woman, but I also want to dress the way that I want to dress, which happens to align with a lot of feminine things, what we as society has just deemed feminine. It's fucking complicated. Anyway, because of that, I've got lots of privilege, right? Also, I have other privileges, big one being white, British. I am not physically disabled in regards to I don't use any mobility aids. I am lower middle class, I guess. Anyway, so I've got lots of privilege, and so I don't experience transphobia in the same way as, say, someone who is a trans woman who happens to also be black, for example, who also happens to be disabled, who also happens to be etc, right? So I just want to point that out, that I'm so lucky in regards to that, but also that doesn't mean that I'm immune from experiencing transphobia. And in the last week or two, well, no, in the last couple of months, like last 3 months or whatever, I've seen it, and oh, sad face. So in the community that I live in, it is a queer community. It's amazing. I love it. And there's a guy down the road who is the caretaker of the church. The church is a queer friendly church. The caretaker is actually not religious himself, but because I have Dougal the dog, the cute little baby puppy, he's not a puppy, he's 9, because I have Dougal, I walk around the streets and I talk to a lot of people who also have dogs, and he happens to be one of the people that I have talked to for the last 18 months, and he's what I presume is like an older guy, like maybe 65 maybe, I don't know, but he's kind of like a rocker and he's cool, and I enjoy talking to him. And so I think it's about a couple of months now. A couple of months ago, I saw him and he was like, "Oh, have you heard about the new J.K. Rowling book? Or is it Rowling? I don't know. I don't care to correctly pronounce her name." J.K. Rowling is a raging transphobe, has done some awfully transphobic stuff, and she has penned a new book. The pseudonym she's used is Robert Galbraith, and the book is about a man dressing up as a woman to go into women's toilets to attack women. Now, that is a big, what is the word? Trope? Is it a trope? Is it a, it's a fear that transphobes have, and people who are just learning about trans people, is that trans people want to be trans so that they can fake being a woman, you know, in quotation marks, so that they can be predators against women. And that's just not true, right? It's not true. There's no issue with trans people going into toilets and assaulting, quote, real women. The opposite, you know, the other way around is trans women are very marginalized and vulnerable to attacks and murders and all that type of jazz. And actually, really, what people are scared about in that instance is not trans people, it's cis men pretending to be women. So really what they're scared of is cis men. Anyway, so he's going on about Robert Galbraith, this book, which is J.K. Rowling, and I was like, yeah, it's not great, you know, and he was saying how, you know, his daughter has told him about how all of these trans women are trying to have sex with her, and she's like, I don't want to have sex with you, go away, and all this type of stuff, and his daughter's a lesbian, and saying how that they're, you know, forcing women to have sex with them. And I was like, I don't think that is what is going. That is not what's that's sexual assault, right? So if people are doing that, then that's wrong. But that is not the quote trans agenda, to force people to have sex with someone against their will. That's a lot of times what people think about fat folks too, is that if a fat person says, oh, I'm, you know, when you're in school, a fat person says, oh, I really fancy this boy. Everyone's like, ooh, that's so weird. Ooh, look, she's a stalker because she fancies Johnny or whatever. But if a thin person says, oh, I fancy Johnny, then people are like, ooh, you know, or the idea that we want fat rights because we want people to be forced to fuck us. It's like, no, we just want to be treated like a human being. It's so strange. It's really, really weird. And it's common rhetoric with trans stuff too. Anyway, he started going on blah blah blah, and I was just like, you know what? I think people should just be kind, and that doesn't sound like it's very kind, and you know. And eventually he was going on about it, and I was like, hey, did you know that actually I'm trans non-binary? And he was like, taken aback. I don't remember what he said exactly, but the gist of what he said was, well, you're not like those trans people, whatever those mean. And then I said, listen, I'm gonna go. And he said, as I was walking away, the whole reason why this sparked was because I said, I need to go. The whole conversation started because I said, I need to go. I've got a diversity presentation that I'm presenting to a company this morning. And he said, oh, diversity? Trans people? You need to hear my rant. And I was literally like, oh, I need to go. And then he spoke at me for like 5 to 7 minutes. And then anyway, so when I was leaving, he was like, oh, have you heard of Ricky Gervais, his new comedy special? And I just said, yeah, he's a piece of shit. So I have avoided walking that route, which is the main route I would normally walk with Dougal, for the last 2 months. And I saw him in the street, and I went the other way, the long way round. And because it feels like, here's this guy, and he also said shit about gay men. He was saying, oh, gay men around here, they just have sex in the streets. And I was like, what? I live here too, and I have never once seen someone getting sucked off or people having sex in the street. And what? And anyway, we're like a block away from a few nightclubs. If we were in nightclubs and it was nightclubs where there were straight people, I have seen straight people fucking. I have seen men getting their dick sucked by women, like in club districts. You just expect that, right? And so if that has, obviously that's happened around here, the guys are getting blowies in bushes or whatever, the same way it is happening in predominant straight areas. And he seemed to have a problem with this. Anyway, so I had that, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. And then a couple of weekends ago, I went away to a singing retreat with my singing group, and there was a lot of misgendering happening of me, a lot of we're all women here and let's sing songs about being women, and that was really difficult for me because I kept saying, oh, hey, actually I'm not a woman, can you include me please? And I just gave up, and at the end of it I really had a tough time with it, actually, because it just felt really kind of like I was asking way too much for people to say, you know, say women, or say women and other genders, or just to say everybody, you know. And so I was just feeling like really kind of, the big theme of my life is you're taking up too much space, you're being a troublemaker, you're asking too much. That's what I talk about in therapy all the time, is that I am asking for too much by people correctly gendering me, which, FYI, I'm not. It's a really basic thing. Yeah, so I had all that type of stuff in my mind. And then, this weekend, Saturday afternoon, I've spoken about this person on the podcast before. I'm not going to say their name again, but it is someone who is very famous in the anti-diet space, who has, in the last couple of years, or year, I'm not sure about the timing, but certainly in the last year, has turned their back on forward-thinking, generous, kindness, left-leaning ideologies, and has turned into what looks like into a right-wing conspiracy theorist. She's thin and white, which is important to note. Straight, cisgender, all that type of stuff. Yeah, so from time to time I'll be like, ooh, what are they up to right now? Just being a bit nosy. What stuff has she said right now? And Saturday I was like, I'm just gonna have a look. Big fucking mistake. So I went and had a look at her profile, and she's complaining about posts of hers getting banned and Instagram taking them down and stuff. And so I was like, what she said so deeply affected me. And I had this groundwork of this trans stuff, and other stuff had been going on too, like other little, other things, like people misgendering in me in my life. And anyway, so I looked at her post, and as saved highlights, she asked her audience a question: what are your most controversial views? And people shared their most controversial views, and she shared them on her stories and then saved the stories to highlights. And the idea behind this was that you're a big person, you're in charge of your feelings, and if this upsets you and if this offends you, it's got nothing to do with the person sharing the opinions or the opinion. It's got to do with you and not being able to manage your emotions correctly, which I think is a very unkind position to take. And because it's not like we go around the world being like, hey, you're a piece of shit, I hate your hairstyle, oh my god, you're really ugly, and then people say, hey, that hurt my feelings, and then you say, I don't give a shit, you should be big enough to be able to not be offended by that. And so she shared some really heinous things. 4 of the things were anti-trans sentiments. So this is her audience sharing, and on one of the trans things she says, yeah, I agree. I'm not going to repeat the anti-trans things because we've had so much of any trans people listening, anyone listening, we don't need to hear that stuff again, so I'm not going to share them. But if you're nosy, you can try and guess who this person is and go and look at their saved stories. And so I looked at them and I was just gobsmacked. Literally, my jaw was like, my mouth opened. My mouth was agape. Like, I cannot believe she's sharing these and other egregious opinions, harmful. And it made me think about, I was sitting there thinking, what about her point of view of, well, you should just get over it. And I was walking, I'd sat with it and just contemplating things. And then eventually in the evening, I went down and walked Dougie for his nighttime walk. And in the elevator downstairs, I had this feeling of, you should just give up. You should just die. In my brain, me. And I had suicidal ideation flash in front of me, which I think is quite a normal thing for a lot of people, and it's something that I've experienced many times in my life, and other times it's been a lot more difficult for me, and I've struggled with thinking about suicide. And again, I think it's a pretty normal thing that we have those thoughts, and that I should just give up. Like, I should just stop asking people to correctly gender me. I should stop asking. I should just stop being me, being alive, because clearly in this community of where I physically live, there's TERFs. TERFs is trans exclusionary radical feminists. There are TERFs lurking in places that I thought were safe. Who else in my neighborhood thinks that my identity is not valid and thinks that I'm whatever for having my identity? In places where I find joy, my singing group, I am not being met with the level of acceptance that human beings need. And then in places which are anti-diet, which I knew going to this page, I'd see some shit. But it kind of just felt like everywhere that I have community, it's like these secret opinions. Like, people on the surface are like, oh yeah, trans, it's fine, whatever. Non-binary, yeah, we love it. But then secretly they're like, not actually. If I get the chance to, share my real opinions, I will, to people who I think are cis, or people who are cis. And it feels so exhausting that most places that I turn, my identity is not being validated. And not all places. There's lots of places that I've recently got a new therapist. I've had one session with them, and they are trans non-binary. Cannot wait to continue with them. And I told her this story about the guy, and the response was so affirming, of being like, yeah, oh my God, I get it. And it was great, right? So I was thinking about this, and then I just was really sad. And then I called a friend, the same friend who's in Australia, and was like, I cried. And I cried. This is the first time in my whole life I've ever called up a friend and cried. I cried to her, and I was like, there's just transphobia is everywhere. It's just really sad. I don't feel my normal self, my normal fierce, fatty self. Can you give me a bit of a pep talk? She gave me a pep talk. I watched a documentary about non-binary kids from Australia that she shared with me. I'll put it in the show notes in case you're interested. And I felt a lot better. And so I am so lucky. I have the support system. I have a trans therapist. I have family who are working to understand who I am. I have friends who deeply love me and who can take my call at 11:30 p.m. at night where I'm crying and I say, pump me up. And they say, right, I'm right to it. And so I was thinking about this idea of her saying, well, tough shit, you should just deal with it because everyone has different views, and if you can't hack it, then that's a you problem. And I was thinking, after I got back to my normal fierce, fatty, non-binary, badass self, I was thinking about this, and I was like, you know what? No. Sharing those egregious views normalizes those views and empowers others who also have those views in secret to say, oh, this is normal for us to have these views which are based in misinformation and hate. And it directly hurts marginalized communities. It legitimizes those false beliefs. When I say it directly hurts those marginalized communities, here I am as an example, someone who I think that I'm a very strong, resilient person. I have got a ton of privilege that I'm able to be that type of person, and a lot of genetic privileges in my brain to be that person. And not everyone has those same things. And it still hurt me to see those few words on a screen of anonymous strangers being shared by someone who I once respected and trusted. And it hurt me. And I was able to stop that suicide ideation pretty quickly and reach out for help. In the past, I have struggled with that, and it's only because I've had years of therapy and other privileges that I hold that I was able to get back past that. And that is not the case for everybody. Trans people, the average age life expectancy for a trans person is 35 years. 35 years old is the average life expectancy for a trans person. For cis folks, it's 70 to 80 years old. And the reason why trans folks die so young is because of transphobia. It's because of high suicide rates, because we are not welcome. It's because of all of the negative health impacts that we see from bias. It's because trans women and trans men and gender non-conforming people are murdered when they present in public in a way that is authentic to them. And so sharing these beliefs is dangerous. Normalizing those beliefs is dangerous. and legitimizing those beliefs which are based in false science, because people were talking about science stuff, and I was like, nope, that's not true. And I'm not an expert on you know, free speech and philosophy and all that type of stuff, but I know someone who is, and I really urge you to go and watch their videos. Abigail Thorne is known as Philosophy Tube on YouTube, and her videos are amazing. I'm going to link you to one I watched recently, which is the philosophy of Antifa, so anti-fascist. So anti-fascist, people who don't like Nazis and all that type of stuff, and talking about that, and talking about, you know, the media positions, the right-wing media positions anti-fascists as, like, quote, just as bad as fascists, and Abigail breaks all of this down. Now, Abigail is a trans woman. This video was filmed in 2017, before she had transitioned, so when you click on the link, just be prepared to see Abigail before transition, just a heads up there. But a really, really great video. And what Abigail was talking about was the idea that right-wing ideologies always lead to violence. So if trans women are not women, and that belief is happily shared by folks, then that's erasure of identity. And what happens when we seek to erase people? What has happened before when society has said these people are not welcome in regards to right-wing fascists? We know what has happened. And of course there is violence on the left, but the difference is that the left would attack people who are actively engaging in anti-social fascist behavior, whereas the right will attack everyone who doesn't align with their worldviews. If you think about terrorism in the United States, from young white Christian boys, men, and who they attack, great swaths of people who have never done anything to them, but their supposed ideologies are not aligned with the right-wing thinking, so they all need to be exterminated. So the left will use targeted violence and the right indiscriminate violence. And there's violence in all political ideologies, but it's different. And Abigail also talks about appeasement and how, you know, the idea of let's just let them have this win. Let's just not make it's not a big deal if someone shares transphobic stuff. You know, let's just let them do that. Let's just share their views with their Instagram audience with 100k followers. It's not hurting anyone. The thing is, as I mentioned before, trans people's average lifespan is 35 years. And trans folks, especially trans women and trans black indigenous people of colour and other marginalised trans folks, are the higher risk of dying young due to transphobia, suicide, murder. And so we have a group of marginalised people, and if we think intersectionally, all of the different people within those communities, how they can have other marginalizations. And so if we are sharing messages about people who are already marginalised, we are going to further marginalise them. So what does sharing anti-trans rhetoric do? What does it do? Does it help marginalised people? Does it harm them? And we have free speech, right? We have free speech, but we cannot have free speech without consequence. So the consequence might be against someone that is not intended. And so this consequence of free speech here, of this person sharing with her Instagram following, is the consequence is I am harmed. The consequence is I am telling you about it, and maybe you might be harmed as well. Maybe you might not, you know, who knows. The consequence is people might say to this person, we don't like what you're saying, and she might lose followers. By the way, she claims to be cancelled. She hasn't lost followers. or I think like there was an episode that talked about it, and it was kind of like something like 100 followers out of 100 and plus thousand. Like it was nothing, right? So we cannot expect to be able to incite hate or incite violence. And I'm not saying that this person has, but we cannot expect to be able to incite violence or hate without seeing the consequences of that. And the consequences could be for the person speaking those things, and more likely it's going to be for the person, for the groups of marginalized individuals who are on the end of that hate speech. And hate speech is protected in the United States. There's no legal ramifications to hate speech unless it directly incites imminent criminal activity and consists of specific threats of violence targeted against a person or group. And so when you hear about like, oh, censorship, people can say pretty much anything they want. They can, but there may be consequences. It's very rare because, as we know, the victims of crime, the victims of hate speech, the victims of any type of harm rarely get to see justice. And, you know, talking about justice and the prison system, all that type of stuff is a totally different topic. But people are able to cause harm and get away scot-free. Yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to talk about that and kind of talk about because it was just been really bothering me. And on the flip side, when I hear affirming things, it's so fucking wonderful. It really is. It's so, it just feels so like people care about me, you know, and I know people care about me, and I'm struggling with this stuff right now because it just happens to be a lot of things converging at the same time. And it's made me think, and luckily, you know, because of my privilege, I've not had to go deep in and think about this stuff before now. Other people don't have the same privilege that I do, and are having to deal with huge things constantly. And I'm not saying that this is also not huge in my mental health, but, you know, just saying that some people, their experiences are different. So, okay, so that was way longer than 5-10 minutes. I wanted to talk about that because, and then I said, because I want this episode to be a little bit more lighthearted, because I've been thinking about all that deep shit. So I feel a little bit better now telling you all that stuff. Don't worry about me. I don't think that I might die or anything, because I am really lucky to have people who I trust around me, and I'm okay. So and that's why I can talk about it, right? And if you're feeling any of those things, please reach out to people in your life and talk about it. And if you can, get into seeing a therapist. There's a lot of places that offer free therapy, especially if you are a member of the Two-Spirit LGBTQIA+ community. And there's also free resources on the Google. So anyway, my friend has shared some things with me, and I want to share them with you. And we've got some other things. Ridiculous diet bullshit. So let's talk about it. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about is these things called yoni pearls. So yoni is a different word for a vagina. Oh, maybe it means also vulva. Who knows? Actually, I don't need to say who knows. I can just fucking Google it. Yoni. Yoni is a Sanskrit word that has been interpreted to literally mean the womb. Oh, there we go. So it's neither of those things. The source and the female organs of generation. It also connotates the female sexual organs such as vagina, vulva, and uterus. And there we go. Have a little bit of light transphobia there. Female sexual organs. Men can have vaginas, vulvas, and uteruses too, as can gender non-conforming, non-binary people. See how it's everywhere? It's everywhere. Anyway, so yoni, your vag. So yoni pearls helps you. This is the advert we've got on the Facebooks. Helps you detoxify your body from all the impurities. Get in shape in 3 to 6 weeks. And so I want to describe what this thing is. Do you remember when we were kids? I don't know. I'm talking about my childhood, like it was your childhood. But in my childhood, they had these things that were like little explosions wrapped in paper, and they came in something that looked like kind of like a matchstick or a paper box, and you'd throw them on the floor and they'd go crack. So imagine something like that, but instead of a piece of paper wrapped around dynamite type stuff, it is a piece of rag. It looks like Hessian sack, so really rough, nasty looking material, and then a ball of brown in it. In the ball of brown are herbs and spices that include ginger and black pepper, alongside other things which are herbs I'm not used to. Horsetail extract, don't know what that is, but I mean, I do not. And the idea is you shove them up your vag, right? The instructions kind of look like it's inserting a tampon. I do not want to be putting black pepper and ginger up my vag. No, thank you. That's the premise, and you can get 7 pearls. So 7 is of these little rags filled with spice for $19.97. You're meant to wear 1 every day minimum, and they claim after 4 weeks visible body detox results. 99.6% lose pound. I mean, I don't know if they're selling this in UK pounds, but 100% of people lose a pound, many pounds, when they buy this product, because they're going to be losing their money. And it's got a little asterisk. Based on a study of 2,000 plus volunteers after 6 weeks of use. Hang on, they said 4 weeks up this. Now it says 6 weeks. Where's the link to the study? Oh, it doesn't exist. 96.7% minus body toxins. 98% minus gynecological issues. Oh my God, cancel that appointment for your next pap. Just stick these spicy rags up your vag, because they're gonna cure 98% of gynecological diseases. An increase 97.8% of blood circulation. 100%, they're going big and bold on this one, 100% tightens your yoni. Thank fuck we've got a solution that's quick and easy to tighten your yoni, sticking these dirty rags up there. Because the next claim is 100% natural ingredients. Well, natural doesn't mean that it's gonna be any good. Prep up the vag doesn't sound fun. After 6 weeks, all user saw amazing results in terms of body detox and treatment of gynecological issues. And this sales page is beautiful. They show some before and after pics. You've got the normal before and after of someone who is in their gym sports bra looking miserable, someone who is half the size, don't know if it's the same person, looking happy and smaller, another person who has had a facelift. Apparently yoni rag spice rags will make you have a facelift. Then we have a stock image of a smiling person in a white coat. Smiling person in a white coat. Then there's an image of hair follicles. I don't know what the fuck hair's got anything to do with it. And then an image of showing how your liver detoxes you, so you don't need herb rags, because you have a liver that detoxes you. Then there's a picture of a swollen ankle, and an after picture of an ankle that is not swollen. And if you've got any more questions about that, they have an FAQ. And so FAQ reads, is it safe? Will it cause infection? Answer, its ingredients are all derived from plants, and it is inherently sterilizing, because that's what you want up your vag, is sterilization. You want to put some chemicals up there to sterilize it, whether they're plant-based or not. I want a sterilized vag, please. Sterilizing, cleansing, and detoxifying. It's very safe and it won't cause infection. And we are certified by the US Department of Health. Bullshit. How often is it used? Every time. Use 1 pearl and leave it in for 15 to 20 minutes. And then take it out. Use daily for 3 to 6 weeks. How long does it take to get in shape? Usually, keep using it for 3 to 6 weeks. You will get good shape based on the analysis of 2,000 consumers. It also can eliminate toxins and resolves any pain and discomfort for all of yoni. If I stop using, my shape will I go back to being as fat as? Let me read that again. If I stop using, my shape will I go back to being as fat as? Will you go back to being as fat as? When you use this product to get in better shape, your body can stay in shape for a long time, even if you don't use it. Oh my God! It's a miracle cure! Ah, thank God it's finally arrived. A way to fix all gynecological, what was it, 98% of gynecological issues and not be as fat as? As fat as? I don't know. As who? As what? I don't know the answer, but we have got all of the wonderful things happening with these yoni thingamajigs. One of the reviews was... Let me let me know one of the reviews, all written by the same person who's written this copy. Let me scroll in past all of the before and afters, a fake FDA certificate, and they're so disgusting. The reviews, obviously, we've got 18 5 stars, 1 4 star, and of course no 3, 2, and 1 stars. Of course. It's disgusting. Okay, don't even look at, don't stop looking. don't look at this page. I'm not going to give you the link of it anyway, but they're showing pictures of, like, I won't even describe it. Not that I'm not getting disgusted by pictures of vages or anything. It's nothing like that. It's just they're claiming it detoxifies, right? I can't even open my eyes to look at this thing. They're claiming it detoxifies, and so they're putting stuff that you think that you might get from detoxifying yonis on images, and it's just, I'm not going to describe it. It's not what happens. They've made it fake pictures basically, but it looks so disgusting. Someone has given it 5 stars from America, allegedly. My yoni has always been loose. My husband doesn't like me for this. It helps me tighten my yoni. My husband is very happy now. Thanks. Amazing. My husband too doesn't like me because of my loose yoni, so you and I have got that in common. Not really. I don't have a husband, but I'm sure he would love my loose yoni if I did. Okay, so the next one we have is a Hypnotic. I feel just so much better not looking at those pictures. They are fucked up. They were fucked up. They're disgusting. Anyway, so Hypnotic gastric band program. So, I've had a few episodes about stomach amputation, stomach squeezing surgery, and now we have a solution. That is sarcasm, by the way. You don't even need to do it anymore because you can buy a Hypnotic gastric band program for regular price, $204, but just today only. If you go on the website any other day, you'll not get this price. Again, sarcasm. Sale price today, $79. So this is what it's saying. Surgery of any kind is not to be taken lightly. Yes, that is right. But what if there was a way to achieve similar results without the need for actual surgery? Tell me more. The good news is that hypnosis can help you make these changes using the power of your mind. Our gastric band hypnosis audio program saves you from the uncomfortable and potentially dangerous side effects of gastric bypass surgery. Our hypnotic gastric band downloads have been designed to give you all the benefits without any of the dangers. All you need to do for our hypnotherapy to work is give yourself a quiet space where you can avoid distractions. 90% of our clients have said that our audio therapies have changed their lives and they would recommend or share them with a friend. Oh my goodness. And so this is the claim that they're making: lose weight with virtual gastric band therapy. So this is not even in person. This is some audio tracks of someone being like, oh, you're really thin now. You've had, actually, you know what, they've got it pre-surgery, during the surgery, post-surgery, and recovery from the surgery. And so they're like, you're going into surgery now. Your stomach has been removed from your body and it's in the bin. I don't know what they're saying because obviously I've not bought it and listened to it, but you know, that's the type of thing. So lose weight with virtual gastric band therapy. Success rate is a whopping 95%, and they've got a little 1 next to the 95%, which tells me there's a study attached to this. Yay! Can't wait to see what that is. Turns out that 1 leads nowhere. There is no study linked to that whopping 95% success rate. No long hospital waiting lists. That's correct. Costs a fraction of the surgery price. That is true. And no post-surgery side effects. Hang on a minute. This is meant to make me believe that I really have had the surgery. So why am I not also having the side effects if I really believe that I've had the surgery? Shouldn't it come with side effects too? They've got a big thing here saying diets don't work. See how I've mentioned before how diet companies are taking anti-diet sentiments and sticking it in their things, and so people get confused. If I had read this sales page 10 years ago, I would have probably bought this thing. I'm telling you, I know it sounds silly. I would have been like, fuck it, it's only whatever it was, less than $100. Maybe because I know the reason that I'm fat is because there's something wrong with my brain. That was my thinking. The reason I'm fat is that I've got a mental health issue, and fatness is the result of, you know, cause to that mental health issue. If I am a positive thinker, in fact, I did do hypnotherapy, as I've discussed in other episodes. Obviously, it did nothing apart from heighten my eating disorder thoughts. Oh, yeah! So I'm sure that this will help you with any eating disorder thoughts that you have and make them worse for you. So continuing, they say, by using the virtual gastric band, you are convinced that you have undergone gastric band surgery, thereby enabling you to eat smaller portions and have your hunger satisfied earlier. I wonder how the power of positive thought can stop chemicals from your body, from your brain, swirling around, telling you that you need to eat food to survive. Like, how is that possible? The gastric band part of the process is a mechanism that helps you believe that your stomach is smaller with less capacity for food. This is why self-hypnosis is the ideal tool to help you become a healthier person once and for all. They introduce you to the therapists, and these images of the therapists seemed a little bit too good. So I did a little bit of a Google reverse image search, and yes, you're right, they are both stock images. They are not real therapists, and this program seems to be quite legit in regards to it has many thousand reviews on Trustpilot. It has a Facebook page. Presumably it's got people buying it. Who the fuck knows, right? So I had a little look at the reviews. Looks like the negative reviews are quickly deleted, because the negative reviews are the ones that were one from an hour ago, one from 3 hours ago. First one gives it 2 stars out of 5, and it says, I bought 4 on offer. However, it was blatantly obvious that the start of the hypnosis was all the same, and then the subject matter was added after the sound quality was markedly different. I did not feel hypnotized at any point. Yes, because you're just listening to someone go, you're no longer fat. This review, a very poor effort all round, is the title of this review. For God's sake, don't waste your money, time or endeavour. Sound quality is dreadful, as is the editing. As for the copy and pasted generic flim-flam waffle, crikey, this is so patronising. What the fuck is flim-flam waffle? Flam waffle? Flim-flam waffle. Anyway, this sounds like a British or Australian person wrote this, because crikey is very Australian, but waffle is very British. Anyway, the guy's voice is irritating at the best of times, and it becomes even more aggravating when he ends his sentences abruptly due to diabolical audio production. Another case of money grabbing and offering a poor service in returns. God knows how many emails I have had suggesting I part with more and more cash for their pathetic products, and yet none to explain the poor quality of the original purchase. The only thing clear here is this is a money-grabbing con that is not worth 29 pence. Never mind 29 pounds. Subjected to clear drivel is not a clear mind. Can't wait for the generic "sorry you feel this way" and contact us via email so we can help response. Eye roll emoji. They didn't give that response. They have not responded at all. So, by the way, in case it's not clear, this thing doesn't work. It doesn't work. Okay, none of anything I'm talking about today. Just a reminder, none of this works. If you think, oh my goodness, actually, I've been convinced, please don't. You literally, like this man says, it's not worth 29 pence. Never mind, 29 pounds. Next one is a Facebook ad which reads, "I pooped my way to my goal weight." I pooped my way to my goal weight. I really dislike the word pooped. I just like saying poo or shit. Pooped just doesn't feel right in my mouth. I was not brought up on the word pooped. You know what word I was brought up on, which I do not use anymore, but I wish I did, is jobby. It's such... So my mum is Irish, right? So I think it's an Irish, Scottish word. Did you do a jobby? I did a job. It's so funny. I'm still feeling sick about those yoni pearls. The yoni pearls, the fact that they call them pearls when they're nasty, rough rags. Pearls, you're like, I could put a pearl up my yoni, but they wouldn't, so nasty. Anyway, so I pooped my way to my goal weight. Someone left a comment saying, if you've ever had giardia, you know how that diet works. Giardia is like, I actually had to have Dougal tested for giardia recently because he had terrible diarrhea from swimming in a lake. Not a lake, a river. Doesn't always happen. Sometimes the river is a little bit more dirty than normal. And he didn't have it. He just had bacteria. Anyway, they show pictures. It's a video of two people who I perceive as women who are taking pills. Inside the pills, fennel seed, milk thistle, and some other herbs, which presumably make you shit yourself. That doesn't work. You know, the same way as the shit your tea detox teas things. You know, no, just N-O. But, you know, I mean, it's fun to imagine shitting your way to your goal weight. Unfortunately, it's not a legitimate method. So some other things here that that I found. The magnetic diet. So this is all about the laws of attraction. But the creator of the diet claims to understand which foods attract health. and disease into the body. So he advises dieters to only eat invigorating magnetism foods and avoid contaminating magnetism foods. And, you know, these are just things that he's made up, right? You know. So apparently you're going to eat something that is invigorating magnetism, and that is going to draw like a magnet to your body thinness and health. Magic? Magic? I don't know. The HCG diet involves being injected with the hormone human chorionic or chorionic gonadotrophin, which the body naturally produces while pregnant. While the shots themselves are technically legal if administered by a healthcare professional, followers of this diet are also encouraged to take HCG drops, pellets, and sprays, all of which are illegal according to the FDA. Fun. Blood type diet. So a naturopathic physician says that you should eat foods according to your blood type. Bullshit. The tapeworm diet does what it says on the tin. Eat tapeworm eggs and have them eat your food, and then presumably have to go to hospital to have them removed. And then one that I spoke about in an episode with friend of the show, Summer Innanen, was the constant glucose monitoring. So I saw an ad of people putting this patch on their arm and wincing, and I thought, what the fuck is that? And so I looked into it, and it was a tool that diabetes patients use, and it monitors their glucose levels and alerts them, gives them the right amount of glucose so that they don't die. Diet culture has said, oh, great, a tool that we can steal to use to try and get people thin. Basically, it tells you, hey, you're not allowed to eat now, and hey, you need to go and do some exercise now, and hey, it's bullshit. It costs $175 for a 2-week program or $350 a month, so it's nice and expensive. And someone left a comment on their Facebook ad saying, you know what else helps people to lose weight? Chemo. Maybe humans should start selling that too. Great point. You know what else helps people lose weight? Death. Have you tried the death diet? It's definitely going to make you lose weight and get that ideal beach body. Are you ready, boys? My dead body is going to be so thin. She continues in the comment, the diet industry is out of control. Why? Because people are obsessed with the size of their bodies. As a type 1 diabetic, I wish I had a healthy enough body to be able to live without the use of one of these things. If you are other person being depicted in one of these advertisements, and you are contemplating this equipment, I seriously recommend you consider speaking to a coach or a therapist about your self-image. You do not need to get skinnier, more toned, more fit. You need to learn how to love yourself. Yes. And hey, here's a little tidbit of information that if you're diagnosed with pre-diabetes, there is only a 2% chance that you will go on to have diabetes, according to the CDC. Pre-diabetes is a made-up condition. Yeah, so fun times. But the big thing here with all of these, quote, fad diets is that they are no different from any other diet out there in regards to the fact that they don't work. They're taking your money and they are then being like, yes. Oh, it didn't work? Oh, did you try this other product? Did you try the one, not the yoni rags up your bum, up your vag, it's up your bum. Try the yoni bum rags now. Oh, you hypnotized? Oh no, it's not meant to be hypnotized. It's meant to be that you're asleep. Oh, oh, you pooped your way to losing weight? Actually, it's meant to be you pissed your way. You pissed your way to your goal weight. They're always moving the goalposts. It doesn't work. Obviously, these are funny and ridiculous, and hopefully we're able to say, oh my god, these are so silly, of course I'm not going to waste my money. But they are no different from Weight Watchers, from Noom, from anything else. The only difference is those products have better marketing and have claims that we think are based in science, especially something like Noom, where people are like, oh, it's all about, what is it? What is it? It's all about like mental health and stuff. It's not. It's tech bros who've made that app, and it's not based in evidence. It is not based in evidence. It doesn't work. Is what I've got to say. Is what I've got to say. So a roundup of everything. The newest, most ridiculous ways that we are being told to lose weight. The first one is the yoni pearls, which are actually pieces of rag with herbs and spices in there. Herbs and spices being ginger and black pepper, among other things, which is going to be great and is apparently meant to make you detox and also become not fat, and also cure 98.7% of your gynecological issues. It doesn't do any of those things. Another one that we've seen recently is the Gastric band program done by Hypnosis, and so this is hypnotizing people over an audio track, which is terrible quality, and making them believe that they have had gastric band surgery. Claims to have a success rate of 95%. Links to a study, but there's no study there. Another one is using herbs to shit yourself. So the product is, I pooped my way to my goal weight. I think that goes without saying that that doesn't work. And finally, the diabetes tool that diet culture has stolen, which is the constant glucose monitoring system, which is putting a patch on your arm that has a little needle in there, and people who have diabetes use it to tell them what their glucose levels are and help them be alive. Diet culture is taking this and selling it for $350 a month to tell you when you're allowed to eat and when you have to go exercise. Obviously not backed up with any science, none of these are, but the big thing to remember are these are ridiculous and funny, and we can see that they are silly, but so are all diets. Every diet out there is a fad diet, which is not backed by any science, doesn't work for the vast majority of people. And just like these hilarious fad diets that will leave you, take your money and make you feel conned, because that is exactly what has happened when you buy any diet product. Okay, so that is our episode today. If you see any hilarious new diet stuff, I would love to see one which is combining the I pooped my way with the yoni rags. I'd love to see a yoni poo one. If you see yoni poo one, chef's kiss, gonna love it. I'm not going to link to any of those products because I don't want them to get any traffic. And also, I looked them up on frickin' what is it? When you go incognito. I hope to fuck they don't. Please don't find me. Don't advertise to me, please. I don't want any of that stuff on my Instagram. Yeah, so don't look them up, because you don't want to get the adverts, because they're gonna bombard you with adverts. All right, yeah. Just take it take it from my unless you want to, I don't know, go on a incognito search or whatever. I'm gonna put in the show notes the link for Philosophy Tube, excellent channel. There's also another one that I really like called ContraPoints, another trans woman. It's like a long form article is what they call them, so it's like an hour long. And a lot of them are really beautifully shot. and they wear costumes and it's very elaborate. That one that I'm going to send you to is just talking to camera, so which is fine, but also there's clips and things like that. Anyway, it's good. Hopefully I don't need to convince you anymore. It's really, really good. The philosophy of Antifa. We've also got other things. Oh my goodness, show recommendation. Please go and watch A League of Their Own. So there's a film, right? I've never actually seen the film. I think I should, but there's a new TV series, A League of Their Own. It's so fucking queer. It's so just gay and trans, and there's a fat actor, and it's just so good. Black folks and Hispanic folks, and it's great. Anyway, so I go and look up the fat actor, Melanie Field. She was already following me. The fat actor in A League of Their Own was already following me. Yeah. So I made a post saying, oh my God, Melanie Field is already following me. She's great in A Field of Dreams. It's not A Field of Dreams. I just saw the word field, and A Field of Dreams I think is a baseball movie too, isn't it? Let me Google it. Field. Sports fantasy drama. So anyway, sports, I think it is baseball, basketball, whatever the thing is. So she must have thought I was a right fucking ding dong. And so she messaged me saying, of course I follow you with a name like Fierce Fatty. And then I was like, oh God, I said the wrong show. And she didn't reply. So she definitely hates me. She doesn't. I'm being an idiot. Yes. So yeah, go watch that. And what was the other show that I was going to recommend? I'll tell you next time. I don't remember what it is, but I'll tell you next time, or whenever I remember. I have these things that I'm like, I need to tell you about this thing. This is a new one, but I'll have them saved on my phone, and then I forget. And then, anyway, yeah. So go watch that. It's on Prime. So good. I watched it in like 12 seconds. I need to go watch it again. It's really good. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for being a fierce fatty. If you want to donate to keep the show going, you can find my PayPal link in the show notes. It's just like PayPal me /fierce fatty. And if you'd like to write a review for the show, that would be incroyable. That's French for incredible. And if you just want to just be a fierce fatty, that's great too. All right, see you later. See you in a while, alligator. Okay.
Perfect.